Hi everyone, Poetry Reading Mondays, back with a diagnosis journey. We're into the chapter where I talk about progression, disease progression. It's a bit inevitable for some of us, for some it's not. So I'm just going to read you free from here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about progression as well because it's a funny old thing. So this first poem I'm going to read you, this is called Keep Adjusting. Just keep adjusting. It keeps on happening and I keep going. The adjustments, they keep on coming. There's a whole list of things, something new to use. I'm always needing something. Depends on what I do. A foot splint, leg wraps, hand splint, eye patch, heat pads and loose clothes. Does it stop? No one knows. Daytime naps in hospital beds, infusions and pills, different types of meds, a bed guard, a shower seat. Lots of new things, all for me. Disabled parking, a marked car, a mobility scooter, an automatic car, a walking stick, a wheelchair. There's adjustments literally everywhere. I'm always adjusting. Whatever I need depends on the situation. My least favourite of all is self-catheterisation. The list goes on and it changes every day. It's difficult, but I don't see a choice. But I have to live this way. I do it so I can have a better quality of life. It doesn't stop it taking its toll on the mind. Let's keep adjusting. Since I was diagnosed, the adjustments came few and far between at first. And then I hit a patch at just after I turned 30. I'm 36 now, but I had catastrophic, they call it, a catastrophic relapse. And it ended me up needing lots of adjustments. I ended up full time on a walking stick, needing a wheelchair and a mobility scooter more and more. And then it slowly got to the point where every time I'm out, I'm in wheels pretty much. Every time I'm out somewhere, I'm in wheels. And I've got my walking stick, and I have all these little adjustments that have just needed to come slowly, all the time. And it's annoying. But we all progress differently. Some of us don't progress at all, have just these few little light bulbs in the brain, and we're absolutely fine. So don't be feared by somebody else's story, because all of our stories are different. Why? I don't know. Does anybody know? I don't think anybody knows. But there's things that can help alter progression. Stress is a big one. I noticed that when I have big periods of stress in my life, I normally end up with a few scars in the brain. So that's definitely one to highlight for sure. Just trying to look after yourself, I suppose. That's the best with progression. Can't really give you any advice because we're all different. So I can only tell you my story, but everybody's got their own. It's difficult, but I know lots of people that are in their 50s have had MS for 30 years and are absolutely fine still. So we'll stick with the positives. Because we're going into progression, right? So every time I needed a tool, pretty much every time, I said no. I ain't using that. I'm not using that. And this poem is called I'm Not Using That. I'm not using that. Well, that's definitely not happening. I'm not using that. I can't do that either. You must think I'm mad. A foot splint? No. Walking stick? No. Scooter? Nah. Self-catheterisation? Not a chance. It's hard to accept it. Difficult to comprehend. Why do I need all these adjustments? In my head, it doesn't really make sense. It's usually a struggle accepting something new. Now I have this whole attire, one that I didn't want to use. I fought against my thoughts. I've battled against internal embarrassment. But as I learn to accept it, I realize the changes make sense. It might not be what I want, but it's definitely something I need. There is nothing else I can do but accept the tools to help me. I'm not using that. Like I said, I've pretty much said no to everything. Donald will tell you I was alright paying for it. Yeah, use a walking stick? No. Get in the mark cart. no. Use a wheelchair? No. I said self-catheterization? No way. I said no for like a year and a half to it weren't happening. But here I am. I used them all, and all of them have made my quality of life better. 100% all of them. So as for the embarrassment and things like that come along with it, that's a big hurdle to get over. But once you're over that hurdle, it's definitely more positive for myself. Every little hurdle, all the embarrassment, I'm over most of it. Most of it. Not that I want to use it all, but I know I need to use it all. So, and it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm going to read you one more. And we'll call this, we won't call this. This is already called. This is called A Week in My Shoes. When people ask you how you've been, especially when you're going through these bad stages, and progression was always a bad stage for me because it's just breaking in the brain. So I wrote this. This is called, this is called A Week in My Shoes. A week in my shoes is a ride with too many turns. From a family man to hiding and crying with skin that burns. Day one, I'm weak, but I'm happy. I have strength inside. Day two, I'm fronting a smile. I'm depressed, and I can't show them what's going on in my mind. Day three, I'm okay. Struggling with depression and not struggles. No, oh my gosh. Start again. A week in my shoes. A week in my shoes is a ride with too many turns. From a family man to hiding and crying with skin that burns. Day one, I'm weak, but I'm happy. I have strength inside. Day two, I'm fronting a smile. I'm depressed. I can't show them what's going on in my mind. Day three, I'm okay. Symptoms and depression are not giving me too much stress. Day four, I'm a wreck. I'm struggling to move, pain all over, but I'm trying my best. Day five, a real smile. I'm happy. The pain is there, but my meds are actually working. Day six, a completely different story. I hate myself. Every piece of my body will not stop hurting. Day seven, a disaster. Symptoms are the worst. I'm spending the day in bed. This is normally the day when I think I'd be better off dead. How can you explain this if someone asks how you've been? A week in my shoes. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm always sorry. Say sorry. I'm not sorry. So that's free from progression. Progression is hard. Progression is definitely hard. But like I said, we're all different. And it affects each and every one of us differently. So fingers crossed for all of those of you that are not struggling so much. I don't know the right words for that. Always just be strong. Take each day as it comes. That's the only advice I can give. My next chapter is mental health. Mental health is definitely a big one for me. Definitely a big one. So I'll come back to you on next Monday, and read you some about that. Right. Thank you for listening. See ya.